Hey folks, how's it going? This is Seagull here, and I've not really uploaded in almost a week because I got addicted to Pokopia almost right after I finished recording that last video. Like, I was just on the cusp of finding some really cool stuff, and yeah, so now there's a laundry list for The Sims 4 to cover, and it's quite a lengthy one, so without further ado, let's get right into it. The laundry list is for an update coming out on March 17th, which is next week, and it will release on PlayStation and Xbox later. They made a whole separate post about this, but to summarize, they want to validate performance, stability, and overall quality on PC and Mac before bringing the update to consoles. Though I feel like it's not going to work well on consoles either way, but whatever. Once the update is out on PC and Mac, console players can still download content from the gallery that was made prior to the March 17th update, and they are able to use platform-specific filters to view only the console-compatible content. Now for the top 5 most voted fixes, extensive updates to ensure that Sims' eye blinking will now show fully closed eyes for most interactions. See the blog post for more information. That's right. They did this whole blog post just about fixing eyelids. I never would have expected that. I'm sorry, I don't feel like reading this whole thing, but I'll leave a link to it in the video description below for those interested. The next most voted fix is that with high school years, prom will once again appear on calendars, and Sims will be able to attend. The fix will ensure it's working for both new and old saves. Alongside this fix, they fixed another issue where prom goals weren't able to be completed. Seen this one brought up a number of times, an issue where pet and horse data was being lost in pre-made households in new saves. However, in old saves that have this issue, it's not going to be fixed in those, unfortunately. This next one is potentially huge, where now they're going to make it so that Sims will generally prefer speaking with familiar Sims they already have a good rapport with, so they're less likely to engage with strangers spontaneously. That's been an issue with The Sims 4, I think, as long as it's been out. So it's going to be interesting to see the difference after this update's installed. And animals can be assigned to an animal shed with cottage living. After moving the household to a new lot, they no longer become stuck in household or sim inventory, and this is also fixed for saves where the animals were already stuck. Then they have a whole section dedicated to Sims autonomy improvements. Sim autonomy is one of our key focus areas based on community feedback, and this update delivers on 3 of our top autonomy issues: Sims socializing with strangers, excessive flirting, and Sims using certain objects obsessively. So they start up by saying they address the issue with Sims excessively flirting with each other, and then we've heard your feedback and wanted to address Sims using computers and phones too often. We've added a few new preferences to base game, including likes phones, likes computers, dislikes phones, and dislikes computers. If you don't want your Sims to autonomously use these objects, please give them dislikes phones or dislikes computers preferences. If you want them to be obsessed, you know what to do. Yeah, this is the sort of stuff that should have been there when they first implemented likes and dislikes. So hopefully this does end up being effective in making the autonomy less out of hand. I suppose Sims being obsessed with their phones and computers is realistic in a way, but it doesn't necessarily apply to every story that's told within The Sims, and it gets to a point where it just gets too annoying. We then have some more specific details. So if a Sim autonomously uses a computer, they'll receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomy again for half a day. And this cooldown does not exist for non-active household Sims. For Sims who are geeks, Sims who like computers, or when it is a preferred interaction for getaways, clubs, small businesses, or dynasties, Sims who dislike computers, a new preference, will never use them autonomously anymore. Then the Trollteforum's computer interaction has been added to the same cooldown that's used for computer interactions, and Sims will also need mischief skill level 6 or higher to consider this action autonomously, unless they have the following traits: evil, childish, geek, hot-headed, erratic, or mean, who always have it available. If a sim autonomously destroys a dollhouse, it'll receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for some time. We also made a change so that only sims with certain traits like evil, hates children, mean, hot-headed will ever autonomously decide to destroy a dollhouse while angry. Before this update, this autonomous behavior could occur for any sim who is feeling angry or dazed. Yeah, I don't use the dollhouses a lot, but sims do seem to be quite obsessed with destroying those, so that's good. That's being fixed as well. If a sim autonomously mixes a drink, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomy again for a sim day, a whole day, for non-NPCs. Previously, this would occur frequently for sims who are inspired or sims with the bro or foodie trait. If a sim autonomously swims, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for some time. This cooldown does not exist for non-active household sims on pool venues during pool party or birthday party events, when swimming is a preferred interaction for getaways, clubs, or small businesses, or if the sim is a mermaid or plant sim. If a sim autonomously plays the violin, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for a sim day. This cooldown does not exist for non-active household sims, for sims who are music lovers, sims who like violins, or when it is a preferred interaction for getaways, clubs, small businesses, or dynasties. They've also applied that same kind of logic to guitars if they're played autonomously. If a sim autonomously plays chess, they'll receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for a sim day, and this is for non-NPCs only and not applicable during clubs or getaways revolving around chess. Added a cooldown for sims dancing while on a lot that the sim owns. Sims who like dancing, dance machine trait sims, and certain situations will not receive this cooldown. This cooldown is not for non-active household sims. Cooldown will disappear when sims move lots in case they are going to a lot where they want to dance. Reducing how often a sim considers turning on the radio. Sims, the music lover trait, will consider listening to music more often than other sims. Though practically a staple of sim culture, being cheeky, we've added a cooldown for autonomous push-ups, sit-ups, and stretches. Now only sims who are energized at the gym venue or sims with the active trait will consider doing this autonomously. I still can't believe they are fixing this. I'm sure this is something they could have fixed many years ago. It's not nearly as complicated as, say, like fixing save corruption. So what changed their minds about that? Because, like, yeah, that's easily one of the biggest memes with The Sims 4. Just autonomously doing push-ups everywhere. So interesting. We've added a cooldown for foodie sims watching culinary training videos on the television, where they won't do this autonomously for 2 days after doing it. If a child autonomously uses the spaceship playground, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for a day. This cooldown does not exist for non-active household sims or when it is a preferred interaction for getaways, clubs, or small businesses. Leaving the current lot also removes the cooldown. If a sim autonomously plays with the lump of clay, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for a while. This cooldown does not occur for creative sims or sims who like pottery. Yep, that's another pretty annoying one. Now for more pack-specific related autonomy. Discover University. If a sim autonomously plays with a soccer ball, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for a while. Cooldown does not occur for sims who like fitness or non-household sims. Cottage living. If a sim autonomously does cross-stitch, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this again for some time. This cooldown does not exist for sims who like cross-stitching or when it is a preferred interaction for a club. Love struck, sims will no longer consider playing thumbs up or the woohoo card game while in the middle of writing a book on the computer. Adventure awaits. If a sim autonomously plays with the paper airplane, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for a while. This cooldown does not occur for sims who like paper crafting. Spa day. If a sim autonomously uses the yoga mat, they'll receive a cooldown on wanting to do this again right away. This cooldown does not exist for high maintenance sims or sims who like wellness. Sims must be level 2 to autonomously use a yoga mat, previously and still. The cooldown is removed when leaving the lot and when it's the preferred interaction for getaways, clubs, or small businesses. Movie hangout stuff, a cooldown has been added to the popcorn popper so that after it has been used by a sim, that sim will not want to immediately use it again for some time. Wait, what about the ice cream machine from Cool Kitchen? But yeah, that's all the autonomy related stuff. So if that actually does end up being fixed, that's going to change the feel of the game so much, because it's just so common to see sims obsessively use things like computers, lumps of clay, the guitar, and all that stuff. So I'm very interested in seeing if that really works. It is weird though that with so many of those, they didn't say anything specific. Like they said a day for some, but then they were vague with others like a while or some time. So I'm not sure how long those are supposed to be exactly. Then for pet and animal fixes, with two of our top community issues being around animals and pets, we fixed a few other bugs also in this category to provide a better overall experience. Animals in the animal shed, chicken coop, mini goats, and sheep will no longer be multiplied. This was happening when these animals were placed into a sim inventory, then back in the world, and after that, the sims moved their household. General bug fixes addressed a handful of other important issues that were quickly rising, particularly problematic or easy fixes to get in. Base game, sims with the unflirty trait will no longer get the ick when hugged. Placing a painting on the wall and then returning it to the sim's inventory will no longer result in a simulation error. With seasons, flowers will no longer get stuck midair while crafting a flower arrangement. Yeah, I can imagine that. You suddenly think that you have telekinesis while making a flower arrangement, but then for rent, the due inspection and maintenance interaction is now available on broken objects in a tenant household for landlord sims. With life and death, adjusted design elements on some of our swatches for the ornate mystery run, which were concerning to some players. With royalty and legacy, they fixed an issue where the updated family tree could cause wrong connections and overlapping, fix a crash that could occur when resuming the game after deleting the cap household. On Darian's, Vertimar lot is no longer reversed. Parenthood, child and teen sims who grew up in the same household but weren't related could get the super sibling relationship despite not being related, and then could later romance each other. Because we didn't want to prevent stories where children could have possibly been in the same household at one point while not related and end up in a relationship, we decided to fix this by renaming the relationships to childhood besties and childhood frenemy. With Strangerville, there should no longer be a script call fail error when the plant containment cell is on the lot and the player tries to place other objects. There's also a lengthy section talking about items in Create a Sim and Build mode that have had their tags updated to make more sense. I don't feel the need to read all of that. There are quite a lot of specific ones, but I don't need this video to be even longer than it's already getting. Updates on top community voted issues. So about save corruption, they have started relocating scratch files from the documents folder to app data on PC back in January. So it helps prevent conflicts with cloud backup services, and they said that it has been pretty successful so far. The amount of infinite loading occurrences have gone down. They talk about working on player redundancy solutions. I'm confused what that means exactly, other than it seems that they are going to add the amount of saves that can end up in the recover save feature. I forget what the limit is, but I guess they're just expanding that. And then they've been investigating safeguards in the game to check against inappropriate sibling relationships with spouses or fiancés. Despite a heavy focus to reproduce the issue, still struggling to reproduce this naturally through gameplay, and the saves they've received have the issue already occurring in code, even if it hasn't been updated to UI yet where players can see. What the? This has made it particularly difficult to nail down a preventative fix. These safeguards would fix it after it occurs, rather than preventing it, so we're being extra careful with our approach for this and need more time and thought to get it right. The issues of photos turning black is still a focus for them. It turns out that many issues that were reported after the February patch are tied to issues from years ago rather than being more recent. So they have been making progress. They're also focusing on fixing infants, things like Sims picking up infants from the cribs and immediately putting them down on the ground, and the check-infant interaction happening too frequently. But they have been very challenging to address. And another important community issue is where build mode items can become unplaceable, new objects disappear immediately, and existing objects cannot be moved or deleted. They believe they have a fix but need to test more, and they're also trying to fix bugs pertaining to Sims not staying asleep. Like they wake up to think about other Sims, or they just won't stay asleep for long in general. Alright, that was a lot to go through, but that is it for the laundry list for today. So I'm most interested by far in the autonomy improvements and see if they will actually work. And hopefully it does actually work with the pets no longer being missing in new saves. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video, so feel free to know your thoughts on this laundry list in the comment section below. And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.